Hey, g'day people, it's Matt here from Matt Carves. So I'm going to be carving Matt Carves today, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to carve letters. So pretty much choose a font that is quite simple, quite bold I guess. This is that font Celandine I got off Canva. And I just use a little bit of carbon paper to transfer the font onto the table, which didn't actually work out that well. It was quite light, you can't even really see it. So I just went over that with a pen as I'm doing there. Okay, so burr choice. Well, burr choice is always personal, but my favorite is the Dremel wheel point burr, and I'm comparing it here to the burr on the right, which a lot of people use, and I use this occasionally as well for letters. It gives a much finer line, the one on the right, but you have to move the wood around. Whereas you can see the one on the left, you can just use it like a pen, so you don't have to change the angle of the Dremel to use that burr, which I really like. Okay, so my preferred method on hand positioning is to use two hands when it comes to projects like this. And you can see I'm sort of like acting as a pen as well, but I'm going very slow and methodically, and I'm keeping to the outside of those lines. You also want to sort of concentrate on how deep the burr is going into the wood, and you want to keep that consistent. Okay, so I found with this burr, in softwood, it's really good to carve from left to right. So you're going with the rotation of the Dremel. And if you go against it, what I find is it tends to dig into the wood. So you might need to change your angle sometimes to go left to right. But essentially, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty good. It's pretty easy. Speeding up the video a little bit there. As you can see, I'm sort of like just going from left to right. Okay, so to make those letters pop, we need to lower that background down. And we've got to sort of like choose a burr that works with this wood. And I'm using a Cutsaw burr here, but I'm finding it's leaving a lot of lines. And I think this is sort of like, when you're a carver, you just sort of like experiment when you're carving wood. So this is a really soft wood, so I could actually use a diamond burr on this, and that's what I ended up doing. And I also used a tiny sanding disc, which I forgot to film, so sorry about that. But essentially you want to sort of try and find something big enough to sort of like make it easy and for fast removal, but also sort of like still get into those little gaps there and smooth things out. Okay, so there's lots of ways you can add contrast to your carvings, and my favorite is this. I try and put a background in, and I do these lines, and you can see it here in this carving. You can see the dragon, but the background has got those lines, and what those lines are doing is it's holding the pigmented wax that I put in. So that holds it in there, so it gives sort of like a dark background. And what I'm doing here is I'm just drawing some rough lines on. I want to keep it kind of uniform, but I'm not too worried. I don't get pedantic about these kind of things. And then I'll go in with the Dremel with one of those little mushroom burrs, and I will just roughly put in lines one way and then the other way, sort of like a checkerboard pattern. And once I've done that, I will give it a light sanding, just with some, I'm not sure what that grit is. It's just one of those foam sanders. It's probably around about, I don't know, 220 grit, I'd say. And then what you want to do is you want to paint the letters. Well, you don't have to paint the letters, you could leave them plain if you wanted to. I've chosen gold. I reckon anything sort of like contrasting to a darker colour, so sort of like gold, white, I guess yellow, any kind of like thing. Like think of what you're trying to do. I'm sort of like trying an old worldy kind of look to it, so I kind of like that gold with the brown background. Okay, so the final part of it is wait till your paint is dry before you do this. Okay, so this is Liberon Black Bison Wax, and the color of it is dark oak. It's quite hard to find on Amazon. It's there, but it's always sold out. It must be quite good stuff. But I think it's sort of like worldwide. It's a very popular brand. So just Google it and you should find a local source. You might find it a little bit expensive, but if you're only doing small jobs like this, it will go a long way. But you might be able to find a rip-off of it as well, or do some other kind of method to make your writing stand out. Hey, thank you for watching, and I'm sorry I haven't been doing many videos, but I've had COVID, so that's why I've got this kind of croaky voice as well. I'm just getting back into it now, and I've had a lot of work on as well. But can't wait to get back and do more carvings for you guys. Okay, thank you for watching.